Hi, Flosstube. This is Rachel, the Pacific Coast Stitcher. Welcome back for Flosstube number 5. I cannot believe we are on 5. I can't believe it is almost the middle of January. Today is Sunday, January 12th, 2025. It is good to be here with you. I want to take a moment and thank all of my returning viewers back for more stitchy goodness and to welcome anybody that's new. And I hope that you enjoy what you see here today, as well as maybe make a connection with me in some way possible. I do want to take a moment and share that my heart is with the people in LA who are being so devastatingly hit by the fires in the Palisades and elsewhere down there. Really tragic. As Pacific Coast Stitcher, I am from California. This devastation is hitting quite a few people that we know and an area of this country that we absolutely love. I just wanted to take a moment and tell you about a nonprofit organization that I chose to sign up with to help those in need. The nonprofit is called Seconds Market. And it's a very unique organization because what it does is it has a matching program that it's set up for the victims of the LA fire. It's an LA fire donation. And I will link the website below. You fill out a very short form, and they're looking for donations of either spare clothes, household essentials that you don't use. And what they do is they take your form that you filled out and they match you with individuals that have been affected by the fire. I don't know about you, but I have way more than I need, and there's such a need out there right now, and I felt like this was a really good way to be able to give back and directly help those that have been just so tragically filled with loss over the last week. Today, let's get to the stitching. I have 10 FFOs. I have a couple finishes, some new starts, whips that I've touched as well, and haul. I don't have too much haul today. And then as always, I like to wrap up with plans. What I think is really funny is I did a whole 25-minute video on potential plans, and then I still am filming videos and including plans that are different than that 20-minute video. So that is just how we roll here on Flosstube, and let's just jump right into it. If you have any comments about anything that I show today, please feel free to leave them in the notes below or questions. I will do my best to cover designer, fabric, floss, all those good things, but sometimes there's so much information that I forget. So feel free to leave me a comment. One, I enjoy reading your comments. I enjoy interacting with you, and it gives us an opportunity to get to know a little bit about each other. And with that, if this is something you enjoyed today, please subscribe. Any questions or comments, I would love to connect with you. So I don't have much displayed around me today because the few things that I do have for winter I'm going to show you because I FFO'd. So let's just get right into it. I'm just going to call this Little Pillow Parade. All of my finishes, except for one, are little pillows. So here is my first one, not in any particular order. I think I will do the winter ones first because I want to get some things out for you guys to see on display. So the first one here this is the January stitch of the month from Primrose Cottage, and it is called Winter Wonderland. And I will switch it to the top camera, the desktop camera. You can see my notes as well. And I stitched this on the called for fabric, 28 count light ash gray, stitch with the called for cottage garden threads. And I think a couple DMCs in there, but I finished it. I bought the finishing kit. And I stuffed my pillows with poly pellets as well as some poly fill just to fill it in. I told you guys before I like my pillows pretty tight, but here is the stitching. Absolutely love it. If we can, I thought originally this would be a really small pillow given the stitching. and the size of the stitching itself, but it turned out to be a wonderful size with the way that I finished it with the fabric below and on the side. So that is the first one, Winter Wonderland, and I might need to stand up here for 1 second to get this to sit properly. Okay, so that was number one. Number two is a project that I have stitched, oh my gosh, probably a year and a half ago, but I hadn't FFO'd it. And so I wanted to FFO it, but what I had done is I finished it on a sticky board. And when I finished it on the sticky board, this was about a year and a half ago, I attached it, hot glued it, the stitching way too close to the edge. You'll see some of it is wrapped around. We try these things and we learn. I think that's why I was hesitant to fully finish it, because I had just put it on that backing board and didn't do anything else and just wasn't happy with how close the stitching is to the edge. But it's a beautiful stitch. I'm not going to let it be something that's not enjoyed based on just that. And I just literally broke the back of the frame, but that's okay. We can fix it. So here is Let's Talk Winter by Hands On Design. And I finished it. I got the frame for $5, which is probably why this just came off, at Michael's. And I'll show it on the desktop cam. What I did is I have it on that backing board, and as you can see here, it's so very close. But what I did is I backed it with a piece of Chelsea's checks, and then I did a little palm trim around. I do have Let's Talk Fall FFO'd, and I had that out. I think I showed it to you guys around Christmas time. So I was excited to get winter done. I do have the other ones. I haven't stitched them yet, but they are always in my plans. So that is FFO number 2. And I was going to put it right here, but that's not going to work. So I think we will just set it to the side for right now. And thankfully, I have not only a techie husband, but a husband that is handy around the house. And so he will be able to fix that for me. Just real quick, and I'll move this to the other side. This is a previous finish, and it is a Country Cottage Needleworks monthly stitch from a couple of years ago. I only have January and February done of these, so they will be working their way into my plans as well, because I would like to get them all finished. Okay, bring it in. Good. Okay, the rest are going to be holiday, Christmas FFOs. So let's jump right in. Tons of Primrose Cottage. First one let's do is a cup of cheer. I finished it in a little pillow with some rickrack behind it. And let's show it on the desk cam. I am still struggling with stitching the rickrack on. I would have liked to have done a better job on this, but the question is, did I want to spend time ripping out to fix? Like you can see some gaps down here. No, I did not want to. I struggle with the palm trim and the rickrack, sewing it on. The Chanel I prefer, and I have some with Chanel on it, because I can hot glue it, and that's so much easier for me than, since I'm so new to sewing. You'll see the ones with Chanel are a lot cleaner. But again, cup of cheer, Primrose Cottage. All of these are stitched on the called for fabric and the called for floss. Excellent. Number 3 is Cocoa Cookies. Cookies and Cocoa, or Cocoa Cookies, Primrose Cottage. This is the one that has palm on it, and I finished it as a little pillow, but I'm going to use it as an ornament for a Christmas tree. I've decided, based on some other things that I've stitched this season, that I want to do a small little Christmas tree next year with ornaments on it from my stitching. So here, again, I finished it as a little pillow. I did my best with the palm trim, and I followed Primrose Cottage tutorial on how to finish this with the bow, the snowflake charm, and love the colors on this stitch. I think I said it before. Seeing it stitched on Primrose Cottage Flosstube doesn't do it justice. I think this one is absolutely adorable with the gingerbread cookies. Excellent. My next one is a Primrose Cottage, and this one also has a palm trim around it. This is Christmas trees and stitching, please. And I felt much more confident, and I feel much better about the red palm trim. You can see the back on this one. And I think after just having that experience of the first one, the cocoa and cookies, I was a little more confident stitching the palm onto this. I feel like a few more times and I would get it. But again, I've filled it with poly pellets, polyfill. I am excited. I know I told you at Christmas time I didn't have very many things to decorate with. I should be good to go for next year. Okay, third one is warm winter stitches. This one I just did a traditional pillow stitch, nothing around it for the trim, just because it's a small stitch. I didn't want to take away from the stitching. Excellent. And then my final Primrose Cottage pillow, it's hard to say. I think I have three favorites. I love the Winter Wonderland, and then I love this finish as well. It came out really beautiful, and the stitching, all of it. Sip, stitch, and repeat, by Primrose Cottage. And I will put it on the desk cam so you can fully see it here. I do like these bigger pillows. I love being able to add the trim on. It just gives us a fun variety of sizes with our pillows. So another little pillow. Okay, let us move to the next two. I'm actually just going to go ahead and hold these up together because these are Life of a Bowl. They were the 2024 Life of a Bowl series. They were a monthly series by Pine Needles. And I finished the pillows. I gave the little rolls that say the month on them. I know I've showed the stitching before, but I gave those to my mom to FFO. But here are November and December's little pillows that will go in the dough bowl. And when my mom's coming in a couple weeks and she'll be on Flosstube with me, she should have the jelly rolls finished. So I'll grab the dough bowl and show you a complete setup of what these should look like. So this has the chenille trim. And you can see, if I can hot glue it, my friends, I'm going to hot glue it. It's no fuss. It's on there permanently. Super fun. Really excited that I am getting these done. And we have one more, which I think I used my own fabric choice on this and finished this in my own way, which is a little pillow. But I think this one is my absolute favorite. It is by Sweet Wing Studio. Merry, Cozy, Jolly. Stitched with the called for colors. The fabric is it's a 16 count. And there we go. It is a 16 count. And the blue, it might be hard to see on the camera, but there is a little bit of a sparkle in it. So look at this with the Chanel by Lady Dot Creates. It's in the color Snow. I think the pinks, the blues, the green, everything pops on this. And look at our Santa Claus with the French knot eyes. I enjoyed every single stitch that I put into this, and I really enjoyed finishing it. This was a finish I was very confident in attempting, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's it for my FFOs. I'm actually going to go ahead and pop this sip, stitch, repeat up here so we have a little decor around us. Maybe it doesn't want to stay. We'll see if it falls over or not. Womp, womp. Womp, womp. They both fell. All right, hang on. We'll stick up with one. You guys, it's just a day in the life of the Pacific Coast Stitcher. So those are my FFOs, 10. What a way to kick off the year. Have you started finishing anything? I have been so good the last couple years about just getting like all the stitching in that I wanted to, but don't spend time FFOing. I was thinking the other day, if I had a full day, a full 24 hours, let's just say, yes, 24 hours where we could be fully awake and either stitching or FFOing, where would you choose to spend your time? For me, it's not even a thought, not even a question of a doubt. I would spend my day stitching. As I've said many times, I love the process of stitching. I am absolutely a process stitcher. There are so many aspects to it that I love. I'm creating something, but it's also very therapeutic. Allows me time to think. It's very calming. I pray during the time that I stitch. So if I have 24 hours, I would fill that with stitching, not FFOing. What about you? What would you do? Okay, I have a couple finishes. We're moving forward. And so 2 of these are new starts and finishes. And so the difference between an FFO and a finish, an FFO is a fully finished object. So it means I have stitched the whole piece and finished it into something that can be used for display in the house or in my house or somebody else's house. Finish is a piece that just has complete stitching on it done, and I haven't finished it into something I can put out around my house as decor. So this is 12 monthly minis by Primrose Cottage. This is the December monthly mini. I enjoy these. They are a quick stitch. So when I'm working on some of my bigger projects, I'll take a little break and spend a day and get one of these done. So we can check December off the box. That is one finish. Now this second finish is what inspired me that I do want to do an ornament tree. This one is by Primrose Cottage and it is Merry and Bright. I stitched it on either 28 or 32 count. I believe it's 32 count. Vintage Country Mocha. I did use my own called for colors, a red and a green. And if you are interested in those colors, the red is DMC 816 and the green is DMC 890. This did not even, maybe it took me an hour and a half to stitch up. But I want to finish it as a flat fold and then put a string on it to put on my tree as an ornament. So Merry and Bright by Primrose Cottage. And then my last one, I know that I don't want to finish it as a little pillow. I want to do something different with this one, but this is by Sweet Wing Studio, Comfort and Joy. And I have fallen in love with this pattern. It's going to add a great variety to what I've already have stitched for Christmas. I did say the details of what it was stitched on and the colors in my last video. So if you need to know those, you could go back or just leave me a comment and I will respond to you. Comfort and Joy. Excellent. I have two new starts. And I guess my Winter Wonderland was a start, whip, finish. You guys get it. But my brand new starts that are now turning into whips. The first one is by Primrose Cottage, Christmas Wishes. Now, you know, I told you guys I'm very much an id-season stitcher. So I just started Christmas at the beginning of December. And let me go ahead and show you my start. So I am very much alive and well with my Christmas stitching. So the saying on here is gingerbread kisses and Christmas wishes. I truly love anything gingerbread. So I need to dig and find some more gingerbread patterns to add to this. But I got here and a little house in, little gingerbread girl. Now, in all honesty, I had the housen and the word bread over here and had just started on the girl and realized I had made a mistake. When I had stitched the gingerbread house, I was supposed to start up here by the R. I started down here. So the house was way down here and I realized it. I looked over at John and said, do I flub it or do I rip it out? Because I had the whole word bread here. And then I noticed the mistake when I got to the girl. And I went ahead and decided to, he said flub it. And at first I thought flubbing it too, but I couldn't. I have a hard time. If I see it, and especially on this, because this is the called for fabric, it's 25 count, vintage country mocha. And actually, no, the called for is 25 desert opal essence. And I'm using 25 vintage country mocha. I feel like on 25, it's bigger. So it's easier to rip out. So I did go ahead and rip out. And then I went ahead and did the gingerbread right away. So the gingerbread house right away. So I wouldn't forget to move it up. And then I wasn't ready to stitch the letters again. So then I moved over here to the cute little gingerbread girl with her red bow. Does it get any cuter? So that is now a whip that I will work on in January. And then I'm going to just show you this on the desk cam. This is January monthly mini. I have a start on her. Again, really enjoy these. And here is my start. What I like about these is it just repeats around. So a lot of times I can just pick one color and stitch that full color and then go to the next color, stitch that one in. Okay. And these are all being stitched for on the same fabric, which is the called for 32 count light taupe with the called for DMC. And as of right now, I have quite a few of them done. I've just been stitching them. I haven't been FFOing them. I think I will do a production line finish on these, which will be a lot of fun. It will be fun to show you that when I get there, because I bought that display box that has a little box for each little month to go in there to be displayed. Okay, so I did also work on some whips in progress. Whips in progress. I guess I'm saying works in progress, whips in progress, same thing. Works in progress. I stitched on a few. I need some feedback and I have some thoughts, but I did have fun with what I was stitching on. First one is the Go Tell It on the Mountain series by the Proper Stitcher. I am stitching this on 32 count. Begins with an M. I bought it from the attic. It's in my last video. Those puppies. Here's my progress. So last time when I showed you, I had the top border done. I had the top border done. And I've gotten quite a bit more done since then. I think I had the words the and on in there as well. So I went ahead and I finished up the words for this one. I've got a couple of the snowflakes in, and then I started the cabin with the fence. So not too much more to do on this one. I have a fence, a tree, two trees, a couple trees, and then the bottom border. And the Proper Stitcher, she has these finished as pillows. I'm doing all three of them on one piece because I want to definitely frame it. My thought on this one is I did stitch it on 32 count, 2 threads over 2. And I'm looking here and I love the fullness of the 32 count 2 over 2, but I wonder if it would have looked a little more delicate if I had done 1/2 or 1 thread over 2 fabric threads, or if I had stitched it on a 36 count. I am feeling, most of you know I love to stitch on the 28 and the 32 count, but I'm feeling the pull to maybe try some 36 with 1/2 and see how I like that coverage. I know I'll enjoy stitching it because I like stitching on all different kinds of fabric. I'm just not sure I will be thrilled with the vintagey look of it, because then I feel like everything I've stitched is so bold with color, and that will be a little bit lighter. Will it clash with the things that I put out? We'll see. I'll get there. So this is a continued work in progress. I will get some more stitches on this month. My next work in progress. Okay, this is one we got to have a conversation about. I told you I was going to work on some of those older whips of mine, so I pulled out Snow Village, and I'm on this one here. I did finish the block. Let me show you on the desktop cam here the pattern. So I have the whole top row done, and this is the one I was working on. I only had the top border done. So I did stitch it and finish it, and it was really annoying. There's just so much white. There's just so much white. Let me hold the whole thing up, and then I will show you. Boop, boop, boop. How's that, John? Over more and up. Okay. So I want you to be able to see the whole thing. Yes, it's beautiful. I love when I can just step back from this and see it. I'm like, okay, yes, it's worth it. But when you're working on a block and it's up close and personal, it's just, I had to do the bottom part here multiple times. I get it all done. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. If you've spotted what I need to rip out, if you haven't, I'm getting ready to tell you. I got it all done, and then I pull back and I'm looking at it, and the back stitching, skates and sleds, I stitched in the wrong color. This is like a dark gray color, and I used brown. I have to change it because all the other ones are in the gray, and thankfully it's not a big rip out of the house or anything, but by the time I finished this, I was over it and just wanted to set it aside. And I figured when I showed it on Flosstube that maybe you guys would give me some inspiration, some motivation to go back and rip this out and then start on the middle block, which is right here. It's a big one, the Snow Village. It is a ton of white stitching. So maybe I go in and do the bottom, and then that will let me start on this one, or I can just follow up here and be able to start this block, but I'm over the white stitching. There's just so much of it. So my mom, I told her, I'm like, and she's like, then why don't you just retire it? And I said, no, I've done too much to retire it. So I'm pulled. Let me know your thoughts. So that was Snow Village. This is up in the air. I will work on it to pull out the brown back stitching, but that's it. I say that's it. I'm not sure if I'm going to go further on that right now. Okay, so that is all of my whips. Again, let me know if you have any questions. If it's something I've showed before, typically the first time I've shown it, I've been really good about going over floss, fabric choice, all of that good stuff. Snow Village is by Little House Needleworks, Country Cottage Needleworks. Okay, what we have left is haul and plans for January. So I don't have too much haul to show you. I did get an order from 123 Stitch and Fat Quarter Shop, but those were flosses that I needed for either projects that I've worked on or some upcoming things that I'm going to show you right now. The other little bit of haul I have, I will show you. First and foremost, I picked up a project bag from Jordan, the Tattooed Stitcher, which if you have not watched her, I recommend her. She stitches on some wonderful projects. Excuse me. She stitches on some wonderful projects that inspire me. And she has just a great presence about her. I would actually love to meet her in person. I feel like she's a really great energy. She's very laid back, very thoughtful in the things that she says, and her stitching is absolutely beautiful. So I went ahead and picked up one of her project bags. This will be easier to show you over here. And very well stitched, beautiful fabric. On the zipper pull, she has little charms of a butterfly and a snowflake. I will open it up so you can see the inside fabric. But I was very excited to add this to my collection. Jordan, thank you so much. When she is getting ready to sell bags, she posts on Instagram and she gives you a heads up of when she will be listing them on her Instagram, and then you just comment on there. And if you are the first one and she responds to you, then you just send her a DM and coordinate from that way. But Jordan, thank you so much. I absolutely love this. And I, as you guys know, am so new with my stitching that I haven't branched out into the world of project bag making yet. I am very fortunate and know some wonderful stitchers and have them in my life. My mom and the cross stitch women that are in our cross stitch group, quite a few of them are sewers. They're originally sewers before cross stitchers. So they have gone down the project bag making hole a couple of times, and I have been the wonderful recipient of some of those. So some additional haul that I got, one of a couple packages from Primrose Cottage. I ordered 32 count in blush for my Valentine's Day stitching. Valentine's Day stitching for me will start February. I don't start before February. My next video, I will have my Valentine's decorations out for you to see. And I will, if I haven't started stitching, I imagine I'll film the last weekend of January or when my mom's here, which is that last week of January. If I haven't started Valentine's stitching, I will show you what my plans are for my Valentine's stitching, because I do have one or two Valentine's whips. So in that other package was this new Valentine's pattern by Primrose Cottage. It is Valentine's Day quilt. I did order the floss. The floss hasn't arrived yet, but it will be here. And I ordered the finishing kit as well, which comes with the rickrack and the little buttons made from Just Another Button Company for this particular stitch. That is my haul. Let's go to plans. Are you guys hanging in there with me? Where are we at? We are at 35 minutes. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so we have just some plans. I'm going to obviously work on Christmas wishes as well as the January monthly mini. I do want to pull out, I've had this one just sitting because I do want to put some stitches in it. I at least want to finish the border to make sure I match up. Christmas garden. I started this a couple of years ago. I believe it is on a 32 count. And I am using a color conversion. I will tell you those, but let me show you where I am. I will hold it back and then I will put it on the camera. Christmas Garden by Blackbird Design. Let us go ahead and pull it down here for you to see. So you can just get a close-up on what motifs I have done. But it's been so long since I've stitched on this. And at this point, I don't know. I feel like I need to go back and double check and see if there was any mistakes or not. So I figure a good way for me to do that is to go ahead and continue the border. And I've gotten it down all on this side. And then so I have the bottom. to do. It looks like I started going up here and then this side to do. So that's my goal for this whip, is to get the border done, see where I am with it, and then I can start tackling the motifs. Again, this is a matriarch stitch for my family. I started this right after my grandmother passed away in 2019, November of 2019. I would like to put all of the women's initials, all of the women in my family, I want to put their initials on this and make it a matriarch sampler to put on my wall. So let me show you the colors real quick. So I am using the Gentle Art Endive for my green, and I am using the Gentle Art Ruby Slipper for my red, and Fool's Gold, as well as, Fool's Gold is by Classic Colorworks, and then another Simply Shaker Thread Heirloom Gold. And look here, I was clever when I did this. This is what I am stitching it on, 32 count sheep's straw. So that is in my plans. I will work on that border the rest of my time here in January. And then the other couple things I want to show you will be new starts, possibly finishes. Some of them are small, so there should be no reason why I can't finish them this month. So this one, Welcome Winter by Primrose Cottage. I am actually going to use the same colors, the same floss colors that I used for Winter Wonderland, but I'm going to use different fabric. I'm going to use Country Mocha instead of the light ash gray that I used for that one. I just think it'd be fun to have them close together, but not looking perfectly matchy-matchy. So that one, Winter Wonderland, and I didn't pull it out, but I think I have Hello Winter as well, and by Primrose Cottage, that I'm going to stitch. Same kind of color palette, but I'm going to stitch on the white petite point fabric. So that is a plan for January is also, just put this over here. Oh, this one here, it looks like I still have possibly 2 Christmas stitches that I want to get in. Primrose Cottage. Oh, look, there's Miriam Bright. The one that I had finished. Here is Jolly Happy Soul. I will stitch this on the 25 count Vintage Country Mocha with the called for DMC. So that is plans. I already have the fabric cut out for it. The other, now I can't remember when I stitched my last video and if I had shown this or not, but this was a Christmas gift from my mother, and it's part of my plans now. It is Pansy Patch Quilts Merry Christmas Sampler. I was going to just wait to start this until next year. This is the fabric she gave me. But I went ahead and bought the floss. And after seeing the floss, I think I want to start it this winter with the intention of picking it up. That's really glary with the fabric, but let me move this here. With the intention of picking it up in Jolly July to potentially finish, because these colors with that fabric are going to be gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So once I saw the floss, I don't think I can put that in a project bag to save for next year without putting some stitches in it. Okay, and I think I have 2 more. Okay, this one here, Not Forgotten Farms Snow Pants. I just need to pick a fabric for it. I have the called for DMC ready to go. So that will be a potential plan. And then it's time for me to start January's Life is a Bowl. I will stitch up the Jelly Roll pillow and the little girl that's ice skating. So that is January plans as well. I think that about sums it up, Flosstube. I feel like that was a jam-packed video with lots of everything, or a little bit of everything. I don't know, stumbling on my words today. But that is all I have to show you. Let me double check my notes here. And just want to remind you guys about the nonprofit that I mentioned called Second Market. I will link them. A really great way to be able to give back to those that are in need. Even if you're not, if you are experiencing some kind of tragedy, disaster, even just some low spirits this time of year, know that you are in my heart, that I'm thinking of you, that we, when I say we, I'm including John, that we are praying for all of those of you in need and that are hurting. And so just know you're not alone. I'm always here. I want to thank you for your time, for checking in to see how I'm doing, to see all of the wonderful stitching that I'm doing. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And as well as if you have a Flosstube or an Instagram account, thank you for just participating in this hobby that we love so much and just sharing. It's very inspirational, and it's something that is a bright light despite everything else that's going on in the world. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. I'm here for your comments, so please feel free to leave some thoughts with me. I would love for you to answer my question. If you have 24 hours, would you spend them stitching or would you spend them FFOing? Thank you so much, and just have a beautiful, wonderful day in January. I will be back. The next time I'm back, I'm going to have my mom with me, so that will be very exciting. Thank you to you all. It was great to be here with you. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye-bye.